Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 89 of Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast. And today is this last video of 2025. I'm your host, Cameron Strickland, and today I have with me Luman Coad. How are you?
I'm fine. It's lovely weather here, about 6 degrees, overcast, but no white stuff, thank goodness.
Nice. Now, for any of you guys who don't know, Luman is a puppeteer who worked on Right Before Christmas, Can of Worms, Being John Malkovich, Scary Movie Free, The Salvation Sound, The Keeper, Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation, Profiles in Puppetry, and Puppet Rampage.
The Puppet Rampage, those were videos shot at Puppeteers of America national festivals of the performances that I gave.
Alright, let's begin our first question.
Mhm.
How did you get interested in puppetry?
When I was in grade 5, I saw a performance of Pinocchio by the Lascelles marionettes, Les and Ellie Heath. And I, I later met them while I was living in California. Um, and I told them that they were responsible for me having the disease of puppetry. They,
Nice,
they infected me.
nice. So, what was your first puppetry gig?
Oh, the first one, it was a short play called Courting, about a fellow, a farmer, driving his old clunky car into the village to visit his girlfriend. And it was televised on the only station at that time in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Okay.
That was about 1955, 56, somewhere in that area.
Okay. Your first TV job was Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
The Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation.
Um, I had done a couple of other um, projects um, on the one of the cable stations in Vancouver before I worked on the Ninja Turtles. But the Ninja Turtles was when I had to join the Film Performers Union.
You have worked on Can of Worms.
Yes, yes, I worked on Can of Worms. Um, it, that was an interesting project because Um, one of the characters, an alien, was actually a dog, and he had a little box with lips on it that moved, and it was hanging below his neck. And I was controlling it, radio control off to the side. The dog was um, had the attention span of a flea. It We would be shooting, and it would smell a squirrel, and its nose would veer off to the side as it was thinking about the squirrel, not on the scene. It was an interesting dog.
You worked on a rated R film called Being John Malkovich.
Yes, yes. I was originally asked to help build the puppets, um, and uh, while I was working with Images in Motion, Camila Portuguese and Lee Armstrong, um, they sent me with Camila down to Hollywood to deliver the first set of puppets. And while I was there, I was asked to manipulate the puppets. So um, I was given the script, which I read on the airplane going home and laughing uproariously. It was such a very funny script. Everybody in the plane was looking at me sort of quizzically. And then we started working, shooting, but we were always second unit. So we would set up a shot, then have to wait for the director um, uh, come and approve the shot, and then we would shoot it. So it took a long time, and sometimes we would be ready to go, and then the first unit needed the lens that was on our camera, so we would lose it and have to wait until they finished. And it was very slow. Um, I was sent home and called back a few weeks later. About four times had to fly from Vancouver to Hollywood, and um, and then uh, the the SAG told them that I um, I would have to be paid more if they called me in another time. So they hired Philip Huber to uh, finish the shots. And because he was the last person to work on the film, he got the full credit for it, which is standard in Hollywood. Writers, for example, a script may have three or four writers who work on it in sequence, but the last one always gets the credit. So Philip is credited for doing the the um, the puppets on Being John Malkovich. Um, it was a fun project, an interesting project, um, and I'm glad I did it. I got to work with both John Cusack and John Malkovich.
Nice. So in 2002, you got to work on Gene M. Madison's Right Before Christmas.
Yes, Gene Matson's it was a puppeteer in Seattle. Her company was called Seattle Puppetory. And The Rat Before Christmas was one of their shows that they played every year. She inherited some money and she wanted to record um, one of the shows. She selected that one. I was called in just to manipulate the puppets for the film. We shot it in a day. in a studio in Bellingham, Washington, in a television studio in Bellingham. Um, it was it was kind of a frustrating project because the puppets were so small and the costumes, for example, the mouse was wearing a sweater, was actually hand knitted, and it was so thick that the puppet was too lightweight and it just didn't move. It was kind of frustrating.
Nice. I did show you the VHS case.
Yeah, yeah. Jean died about a year ago. Um,
And there's your name.
yep, yep. With Camila again, Camila Portuguese. Um, Jean had Camila design and build the puppets for it. There was a marionette, a small marionette, and then rod puppets or hand puppets for the close-ups.
And in 2003, you got to work on Scary Movie 3.
Yes, that um, that was an interesting project. It was shot in Vancouver. Um, the original characters or the original aliens were full body costumes. They were skin tight on the poor suit performers. We had to be on location about 5 o'clock in the morning to help get them into these costumes, and then they were closed up and sealed, and makeup was put over the seam so it wouldn't show down the back, and the head was put on, and again camouflaged. The seam was camouflaged. These poor actors were in the costumes for 10 to 12 to 14 hours a day. They couldn't go to the bathroom because they were in these thick foam costumes. They couldn't eat. They could drink. We could give them water um, or or juice, um, and they could only breathe when the mouths were open. So they spent most of their time lying on padding off to the side, and the puppeteers were holding fans, battery fans, and blowing air down into them so they wouldn't suffocate in these costumes. I really felt sorry for them. So we finished all of the footage. It went to Hollywood, and the studio decided that the aliens were too scary. Um, and so they hired a special effects house in Vancouver to remake the costumes, which were half masks and much simpler costumes. And we reshot all of the scenes.
And you worked on another rated R film called The Keeper as the puppeteer.
That was a pilot. Uh, no, the keeper. Okay, there were two that were similar. Um, One was a pilot in Vancouver, and the other one was with, um, oh, I can't remember his name now. It was shot in Victoria, and it was it was a hard one. Or one scene was very hard in that because there was a hand puppet that he was supposed to slash and cut to pieces. So we started with my hand in it, and it was a razor sharp knife. And then I had to put it down on a table and get my hand out of the puppet before he actually stabbed it and then started slashing the costume all apart.
So in 2005, you got to work on Desolation Sound, which is rated R.
I'm sorry, the which film?
Desolation Sound.
Um, I'm not I'm not sure uh, which one you're talking about.
Laura Elliott.
Here, turn up the volume a little bit more. Okay, once again,
What was it like working on Desol Desolation Sound?
installation.
Desolation.
Uh, was that a video from a puppet festival?
It's
Performances at a puppet festival? I'm not sure.
It was directed by Scott Weber.
It doesn't ring a bell. Um, I don't know. I can't, I don't remember a director by that name. So it may have been one of the films that was shot at of performances at puppet festivals.
So you are an interviewee on Puppet Rampage.
Okay, Puppet Rampage is was one of the videos shot at a puppet festival. Um, it was, I think it was in Minneapolis, and I don't remember which show. It was one of our shows. I don't remember which show it was that I performed that year. It-
Okay. So, 2 years ago, you appeared on Profiles in Puppetry, The Lives and Times of Bob and Judy Brown.
um, I don't know that I appeared in that. Um, I I had with Judy had written an autobiography of Bob and Judy Brown. I I've known them or knew she died a few years ago, but I knew them since 1960. Oh boy, 63. I met them in 1963. Um, so I think I think what you're referring to is just a mention in a video on them, um, which I haven't seen.
Luman is an American puppeteer who moved to Canada.
Yes, 59 years ago, and I have dual citizenship. I am Canadian and US.
All right. And have they ever worked on Baby Einstein and Images in Motion?
Um, Images in Motion, they um, built the puppets for Being John Malkovich and also for Gene Matson's The Rat Before Christmas. Um, they've done a lot of other projects, which I have not worked on. They have a studio, a film studio um, in in California, um, in Sonoma.
They made Baby Einstein.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
They made Baby Einstein.
Bibianza.
Yes, Baby Einstein.
I I don't I don't know all of their projects that they have created. You would have to ask Lee. Kamala died several years ago, very suddenly. But Lee um, continues on, and Kamala's husband also are carrying, the two of them are carrying on.
All right. You're gonna show me some hand puppets?
Show you some puppets?
Uh-huh.
I don't have any here. They're, not in the house. They're all over in my studio. I didn't know you wanted any puppets. I'm sorry. Um, I can fax you some photographs or email some photographs to you. Um, wait a minute. I know. Um, I should explain that Arlen, my late wife, was the designer. She was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And um, a couple of years ago, I did a retrospective book on our work. This, now I can't really see if if you can see the image. This is one of her puppets. Um, yep, the photograph was taken by Richard Termini, who photographs the Muppets. Um, he did all of the color photographs. This is a production, a mime production called The Box, A Show of Feelings. And and let's see. And this is the last set of puppets that Arlen made. Um, it it was her idea of this show. It, she said one day, wouldn't it be interesting to do a show about an imp spraying graffiti on the gates of heaven? And then I said, yes, write the script. Well, she never got around to it. So I sat down, wrote the script, and wrote a script. She read it and she panicked because, um, in addition to the angel and the imp, there were a number of souls applying for admission to heaven. There were about five or six, and she was quite sick at the time, and she didn't understand how she could get them made. And I kept saying, "It's one puppet, um, and all we have to do is change the headdress." So the same puppet here starts as a little old lady, and then a politician, and a rock musician, and the final one is a nun. And all I had to do in the performance was to take off the hat or the wig and slip another one on. And so one puppet played all of those characters. I performed it at um, the 1999 Puppet Festival in Seattle at the National Festival. Afterwards, people came backstage. Well, where are all the puppets? There are only three puppets here. Yeah. Well, but there were others. Well, all I did was just change the headdress. Oh, we never thought of that. They were quite upset.
Okay. So, could we be Facebook friends?
Yes, yes, it would be a pleasure. I'd like to see more of what you're doing.
All right. Add friend. Now I should wait. Just go into Facebook.
Um, no, I'm not sure how to do anything on the computer without losing you, without losing this connection. I'm not that good with computers, um, but I'll add it. I'll add it. Um, just send me an email and I'll add it as friend on Facebook.
I'll send you an email.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Go into Facebook.
Hey, Great. Thank you.
Should I send it to you?
Yes, I'll open it later. Um,
There you go.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you gonna send me a friend request?
A, a friend request?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I will.
Great.
Yes. It will have to be after we finish this call.
You're typing something. Are you typing something?
No, no, because um, I don't know how to open another program or um, my email while this while we're on a video call. I'm afraid I'll lose you if I switch to the other.
That's okay.
Okay. Then we have finished with the video.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. So I'll leave the meeting and open up my mailbox.
Well, Lumen, thank you so much for your time.
You're very, very welcome. And thank you for some great questions.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Sorry?
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, except up the puppet. Keep practicing.
Nice. Stay tuned for maybe more guests coming up. Until next time, peace.
Okay.